Did you know many Golden Era celebrities used to live in the grand estates that were haunted by restless spirits? From hidden passageways to footsteps echoing through empty corridors, these mansions became theaters of ghostly encounters that defied easy explanation. Today, we're going to explore 15 eerie mansions linked to 11 Golden Age celebrities. 1. Pickfair, home of Mary Pickford and Douglas Fairbanks. Few estates in Old Hollywood were as iconic as Pickfair, the 22-room Beverly Hills mansion that silent film superstars Mary Pickford and Douglas Fairbanks called home. Built in 1919, it quickly became a symbol of Hollywood's golden era. Swanky parties, royalty visits, and lavish gatherings of the day's biggest names. Beneath the glamorous facade, however, lurked rumors of something far less welcoming. Many visitors claimed to feel an inexplicable chill in specific corridors, especially near the grand staircase. One persistent story told of faint weeping, which staff reported hearing late at night. Some insisted it was Mary Pickford herself, who, in her later years, roamed the halls longing for earlier, happier times. Others believed it was a different female spirit entirely, perhaps a wronged resident from the land's older history before the mansion was built. A caretaker's log from the 1940s mentioned doors swinging open when locked, and footsteps tapping down the hallway long after everyone had gone. More than one guest swore they glimpsed a glowing figure on the second-floor balcony, vanishing whenever approached. Even Douglas Fairbanks, known for his no-nonsense attitude, was said to be spooked by unexplainable drafts and flickering lights that occurred in rooms without electricity turned on. When Mary Pickford died in 1979, some believed her spirit never fully departed Pickfair. The mansion changed hands several times, and each new owner either reported ghostly activity or quickly sold it. In the late 1980s, it was partially demolished and remodeled, a move many old Hollywood fans lamented. Today, only fragments of the original remain, but stories of spectral footsteps and quiet sobs still circulate, living proof that Pickfair's glamorous veneer never quite erased the lingering, haunted presence it became famous for. 2. The Bette Davis House, North Palm Drive, Los Angeles. Few actresses from the Golden Age rivaled Bette Davis in intensity. She projected fierce energy on screen, and some say that same spirit never quite left her old house on North Palm Drive in Los Angeles. Davis lived there in the 1940s, a period where she was racking up Oscar nominations while also enduring off-screen tensions and personal struggles. Local legend claims that whatever energy she carried became imprinted on the property, generating unsettling experiences for those who followed. Over the years, subsequent residents reported hearing muffled voices in rooms they knew were empty. Some described a faint, raspy tone reminiscent of Davis's distinctive voice. Others sensed an imposing, watchful presence at the top of the stairs. A handful of frightened guests swore that once the lights were off, they caught a fleeting glimpse of a woman's shadow crossing the hall. Each time they'd flip on a light, the hallway was vacant, except for the lingering scent of cigarette smoke. An older caretaker who worked there claimed the basement was the epicenter of eerie activity. He heard scratching noises from behind concrete walls and footsteps trailing him when he went down to fix the furnace. One night, the caretaker said he heard someone hiss, "Get out," even though he was alone. Could these echoes be Bette Davis's restless spirit patrolling the home she once cherished? Or are they residual energies left over from old Hollywood parties and intense emotional drama? While many remain skeptical, local lore keeps the story alive. Visitors often approach the house with curiosity and a dash of apprehension, wondering if they'll encounter the fearless star's lingering presence or discover some other entity entirely. Regardless, The haunted Bette Davis house remains a fixture of LA's ghostly gossip circuit. 3. Falcon's Lair, Rudolph Valentino's legendary mansion. Rudolph Valentino, the Latin lover of silent film, personified romance and magnetism. Off-screen, he was equally intriguing, especially when he purchased a grand Spanish-style house in the hills above Beverly Hills, known as Falcon's Lair. Built in 1925, Valentino moved in with high hopes, only to die unexpectedly a year later, at just 31. After his untimely passing, rumors spread that his spirit refused to abandon the estate he'd loved so dearly. Early visitors to Falcon's Lair noted disembodied footsteps echoing across empty rooms. Some nights, the gate would slam shut by itself, spooking neighbors. Valentino's beloved Great Dane, Kabar, reportedly howled incessantly in the courtyard, sensing something the human eye could not see. More than one friend who stayed overnight insisted they saw a faint figure in riding boots passing through the garden. Valentino had a passion for horses, and watchers believed he still walked the grounds checking on his stables. Even in the 1930s, newspapers occasionally ran pieces about Valentino's ghost, fueling local curiosity. Owners that followed faced mysterious issues, like bizarre cold spots that never budged, even in summer's heat. Others discovered random footprints in dusty corners, too large to match their own shoes. One property manager reportedly fled after hearing the whisper of an Italian lullaby drifting through the courtyard, though no one else was home. Falcon's Lair changed hands many times, with each occupant either denying or confirming its haunted status. Some tried exorcisms or spiritual cleansings. Others embraced the legend, hosting glamour-soaked seances to commune with the silent film icon. Although the original structure has gone through major renovations, the myth persists. Rudolph Valentino may still stroll those corridors, unwilling or unable to leave the hillside sanctuary he so briefly called home. 4. Gable-Lombard and Clark Gable's Encino Ranch. When Gable-Lombard and Clark Gable married in 1939, they were Hollywood royalty, adored by fans everywhere. They settled on a sprawling ranch in Encino, hoping to find peace away from studio lights. After Lombard's tragic death in 1942 from a plane crash, many believed her spirit lingered, particularly at the ranch she so dearly loved. Staff hired after Lombard's death reported strange happenings: footsteps pacing Lombard's favorite sitting room, doors that refused to remain shut, and the faint smell of her signature perfume drifting through hallways. Gable, devastated by her loss, often claimed to sense her presence. On more than one occasion, he reportedly told friends that he heard Carol calling his name late at night, as though checking on him. Workers also mentioned flickering lights in stables at odd hours, and the soft hum of a woman's laughter near the rose garden Lombard had planted. Occasionally, neighbors said they saw a shape in white, wandering across the property's edge at dusk, matching Lombard's silhouette. Though Gable later remarried and moved on, some versions of the story say he remained convinced Carol was watching over him until his own death in 1960. In the following decades, the ranch passed to new owners who each added their own ghost stories. Phantom breezes in sealed rooms, doors opening with gentle force, or a spectral presence felt near the old orchard. For many fans, these sightings reflect the undying devotion between Lombard and Gable, a bond so strong it transcended death. Whether one believes in spirits or not, the ranch's quietly eerie tales add depth to the love story that ended far too soon, leaving behind an unbreakable ghostly tie to the golden couple's once joyful home. 5. Boris Karloff's Monster Mansion, La Loma Residence. If anyone in old Hollywood was linked to the macabre, it was Boris Karloff, the actor who famously portrayed Frankenstein's monster. Despite his gentle demeanor off-screen, Karloff's association with ghouls and graveyards followed him home to a Spanish-style mansion on La Loma Road in Los Angeles, which many dubbed the Monster Mansion. Even Karloff hinted that bizarre things occurred there, attributing them partly to his own spooky reputation. Neighbors recounted hearing strange moans and clanging chains around Karloff's property late at night. Some assumed it was the actor rehearsing lines for horror roles or entertaining guests with a staged spectacle. But after Karloff passed away in 1969, later tenants claimed the eerie sounds continued. Only now, no one was practicing for a film. Doors rattled when the house was silent, and an upstairs window would slam repeatedly, as though hammered by invisible hands. One caretaker reported an oppressive feeling in the basement, a cold weight pressing on his chest. He also found footprints of uncertain origin in dusty corners. Local gossip insisted Karloff had collected odd antiques and props from horror sets, and that the items carried a dark energy. Some believed these artifacts attracted restless spirits to the mansion. Even gatherings of Karloff's close friends occasionally descended into ghostly happenings. Cups flying off shelves, locked doors found wide open, and the sense of a silent spectator watching from shadowy corners. When the house changed owners, many tried renovations or spiritual cleansings. Nevertheless, rumors of ghostly activity continued. Today, fans still call it the Monster Mansion, a place that merges Karloff's horror legacy with the suggestion that his presence, or something far older, roams the halls on chilly Los Angeles nights. 6. Bela Lugosi's Castle, the Dracula star's infamous residence. Just as Karloff will always be linked to Frankenstein, Bela Lugosi is forever tied to Dracula. So it's no surprise that the house Lugosi lived in near the Hollywood Hills earned the nickname Lugosi's Castle. While it wasn't a literal castle, its towering exterior and dramatic architecture made it easy to believe shadows lurked within. Lugosi himself maintained that he liked the home's style. Dark woods, heavy drapes, and echoing hallways. Stories claim Lugosi performed personal rituals on full moon nights, though whether these were simply creative PR stunts or genuine spiritual practices remains debatable. After his death in 1956, rumors swirled that something more sinister than stage illusions lingered. Owners who tried living there recounted hearing faint organ music from an upstairs room, even though no organ existed in the house. Shadows flitted across corridors, vanishing the moment someone turned a corner. A particularly unsettling tale involves one occupant who woke to see a tall figure in a black cape standing at the foot of his bed. Terrified, he switched on the lamp, only to find the room empty. Others claimed repeated nightmares about Lugosi's character, or glimpsed a stern-faced man pacing the living room late at night. Locals insisted the house carried an unshakable gloom. Creaking floors that moaned louder than normal, hot and cold spots that defied explanation, and a courtyard fountain that would run dry unexpectedly. Believers said the star who embodied Dracula too well left an imprint behind, possibly fueling an eternal vampiric presence. Skeptics dismissed the tales as overblown fan myths. Yet, for those bold enough to spend a night there, Lugosi's Castle remains a chilling piece of Hollywood's haunted lore, hinting that perhaps the undead still roam under its imposing roof. 7. John Barrymore's Bella Vista, a ghostly stage for a theatrical legend. John Barrymore, the famed stage and screen actor from the illustrious Barrymore family, enjoyed living large. His Beverly Hills estate, Bella Vista, exuded an old-world charm that matched his dramatic flair. The mansion's architecture featured ornate balconies, winding staircases, and lush gardens. Legend claims the house also served as a playground for supernatural guests, with Barrymore either shrugging them off or relishing the theatrical possibilities. Friends of Barrymore said he had a fascination with spiritualism. He once joked that performing seances might help him rehearse for ghostly roles. After his death in 1942, Bella Vista took on a reputation for eerie occurrences. Visitors reported flickering lights in the music room, weird breezes rustling curtains in closed windows, and the sound of clinking glasses late at night, perhaps echoes of the star's many boisterous parties. One enduring rumor says that Barrymore's ghost roamed the library, occasionally toppling books. A caretaker recounted seeing a translucent figure wearing a dressing gown pass through a locked door. Another caretaker, unfamiliar with the Barrymore legend, quit after only a week, claiming she couldn't handle the silent shape that glides by at 2 a.m. Some insisted the ghost was Barrymore's way of continuing to perform, even in the afterlife. Decades later, new owners attempted to dismiss these stories as folklore. Nonetheless, sightings persisted. Some believed the land itself carried an ancient presence, amplified by Barrymore's love of drama. The estate changed hands multiple times, each occupant weaving fresh tales of footsteps in the tower room or a spectral figure standing by the fireplace. Whether it's true or not, Bella Vista stands as a testament to the idea that an actor's stage might extend well beyond mortal boundaries, especially for someone as theatrical as John Barrymore. 8. Lucille Ball's Roxbury Drive Home. Ghostly giggles in the neighborhood. Comedian Lucille Ball remains one of television's most beloved figures, but few fans associate her with anything ghostly. During her prime, though, she lived in a classic Beverly Hills house on Roxbury Drive, rumored to host strange echoes of laughter and slamming doors long after Lucy left. After her death in 1989, people joked that if a ghost could be funny, it would be Lucy's. The property changed ownership multiple times, with new residents reporting unexplainable antics that felt oddly comedic rather than malevolent. Cupboard doors would swing open as though rummaging for candy. Late at night, muffled laughter could be heard from an empty den. Some said it echoed Lucy's iconic giggle. One occupant recalled hearing footsteps race up and down the stairs, reminiscent of Lucy's frantic comedic chases. When she investigated, the stairs were empty. On rare occasions, neighbors insisted they glimpsed a red-haired silhouette through the curtains, even when the house was unoccupied. A contractor doing renovations found carpets mysteriously rolled back in the morning, as though someone had hastily cleared space. Another worker swore he heard someone humming the "I Love Lucy" theme near the living room. Skeptics claim these are simply illusions fueled by Lucy's enormous cultural footprint. The comedic queen spent many happy years at Roxbury Drive, hosting parties and shaping television history. Yet, longtime locals share tales of haunted laughter or the faint smell of Lucy's favored perfume wafting through closed rooms. Whether spirit or legend, Lucille Ball's presence lingers, reminding us that even in the afterlife, she might still be playing pranks and generating heartfelt chuckles in the heart of Beverly Hills. 9. Jean Harlow House, the Greenacre Ghost. Jean Harlow, the original blonde bombshell, owned a stunning white bungalow on North Palm Drive, but she also spent significant time in a house off Greenacre Avenue in Los Angeles. Though it wasn't as grand as Pickfair, it carried its own glamorous aura and, some say, a chilling secret. After Harlow's untimely death at 26, Rumors spread about tragedy etched into the building's walls. Owners reported moaning sounds in the upstairs bedroom, believed to be echoes of the star's final days. Some said footsteps paced back and forth, especially after midnight. The house's temperature often dropped for no reason, forcing the occupant to wear sweaters even in summer. One visitor swore she heard Harlow whisper, "It's so cold," the same phrase the actress reportedly uttered during her last hours when kidney failure ravaged her body. Adding to the eerie vibe were flickering lights in the hallway near a large vintage mirror. More than one witness claimed they saw a pale reflection that didn't match their own, resembling a platinum-haired woman. A caretaker who managed the property for a while insisted that doorknobs would rattle violently at night. When he mustered the courage to open them, no one was there. Some experts tie the house's haunting to the star's personal sorrow, and the sensational revelations that her husband, Paul Byrne, died under mysterious circumstances. Though that incident happened at another address, they propose the emotional weight followed her. Whether these ghostly details stem from fans weaving a tragic love story or actual paranormal activity remains hotly debated. Regardless, the Jean Harlow house stands as a spectral reminder that the heartbreak of a beloved star may echo in the corridors she once called home. 10th. Errol Flynn's Mulholland Farm, Revelry and Restless Spirits. Known for his swashbuckling roles and famously rowdy lifestyle, Errol Flynn purchased a hilltop home on Mulholland Drive in the late 1930s. Dubbed Mulholland Farm, it was the site of raucous parties, rumored affairs, and ongoing mischief that matched Flynn's public persona. But after his star faded and he moved away, whispers emerged of ghostly visitors and strange nightly antics continuing in his absence. Post-Flynn owners described hearing laughter and music drifting from an empty ballroom late at night. Lights often turned on by themselves, illuminating the large windows that overlooked the city. Some guests insisted they saw ghostly figures dancing, like a mirage of glamorous couples swirling to big band tunes. One caretaker found the pool suddenly churning with waves, though the air was still and no one had been swimming. A particularly spooky rumor revolves around hidden passages Flynn reportedly installed for privacy and secret escapes. Explorers claim these passages are stiflingly cold, even in scorching summer heat, and that footsteps echo behind you, as if you're being followed. One resident recounted a distinct, mocking chuckle echoing through the corridor, reminiscent of Flynn's signature playful laugh. She fled the property soon after. Could the irrepressible Flynn be hosting eternal gatherings? Or do these events reflect leftover energies from years of unrestrained celebrations? Skeptics point out that old wiring and structural quirks might explain flickering lights or weird echoes in hidden passageways. Still, the stories endure, capturing the imagination of ghost hunters who love the idea of Errol Flynn's spirit continuing his grand parties. Mulholland Farm stands as a testament to how an actor's real-life bravado might fuse with the intangible, leaving a haunted legacy perched above Hollywood's sparkling lights. 11. Clifton Webb's house, the gentle ghost of an urbane star. Clifton Webb, famed for his sophisticated roles in films like Laura and Sitting Pretty, was the picture of genteel wit. Off-camera, he kept a close relationship with his mother and maintained a quiet personal life that some labeled reclusive. After Webb died in 1966, tales began to emerge about his Brentwood home radiating an otherworldly presence, one attributed to the man who wore polished suits and delivered lines with perfect diction. Visitors described faint conversations in empty rooms, the tone polite yet urgent. One caretaker said he heard classical music playing softly from the living room, but upon entering found no record player or radio switched on. Others claimed to catch fleeting glimpses of a silhouette near the grand piano Webb supposedly loved. The figure would pause, as if mid-performance, then vanish. Some nights, a delicate aroma of cologne drifted through the hall, matching the brand Webb reportedly favored. The caretaker also noticed locked doors inexplicably unlocking themselves, as though Webb's ghost insisted on order but not confinement. A realtor trying to sell the property sensed, someone curiously observing me, an unnerving vibe for a routine house showing. Many who experienced these phenomena described it as gentle rather than frightening, an echo of Clifton Webb's refined nature. Whether or not you believe in ghosts, the idea that Webb stuck around to ensure the house remained impeccable fits his meticulous style. The legend endures, reminding fans that behind every urbane star might lie a restless soul, continuing to greet visitors with courtesy from beyond the grave. 12. Greta Garbo's Beverly Hills Hideaway. Swedish-born Greta Garbo gained fame for her sultry, mysterious screen presence and an equally enigmatic private life. She famously said, "I want to be alone," and eventually retreated into near seclusion. Among the lesser-known properties linked to Garbo was a discreet Beverly Hills hideaway, a Spanish-style house nestled off a winding road. Hardly anyone outside her circle knew about it until rumors of strange vibrations began surfacing long after she had left. Locals who walked dogs in the area reported eerie humming noises at dusk. Some insisted it sounded like a woman softly singing, reminiscent of Garbo's melodic Swedish accent. A caretaker once saw a veiled figure moving through the courtyard at dawn, only to vanish near a fountain. The caretaker also noted he often found half-burned incense sticks in corners, though he never placed them there. Over the decades, new owners experienced inexplicable chills around an enclosed terrace, rumored to have been Garbo's favorite spot to read. One resident, a self-proclaimed psychic, described feeling a lonely presence wandering the halls, exuding sorrow. She believed it was Garbo herself, perhaps drawn back to the only home where she truly found peace away from the public eye. Others chalk these stories up to the house's secluded setting and decades of rumor building. Yet real estate agents have admitted that prospective buyers occasionally turn down the property after sensing an unsettling aura. Was Garbo's quiet persona intense enough to leave an imprint that lingers? Or did some older tragedy connected to the land predates Garbo's ownership? Regardless, the Beverly Hills hideaway remains a symbol of how the spirit of a deeply private star might quietly roam the corridors, searching for solitude even beyond the mortal realm. 13. John Carradine's Mysterious Estate. The Shakespearean Haunt. John Carradine, patriarch of the Carradine acting dynasty, was renowned for his deep voice and commanding presence in numerous classic films and stage productions. He also had a known passion for Shakespeare, often reciting lines at dinner parties in his sprawling estate in the Hollywood Hills. Over time, that estate gained a ghostly reputation, seemingly as dramatic as Carradine's on-stage performances. According to longtime staff, faint recitations of Shakespearean monologues were heard echoing from the library when no one was inside. Sometimes, guests recognized snippets from Hamlet or Macbeth. One caretaker, dozing off in the study, was awakened by booming laughter, only to find an empty room. Door handles jiggled late at night, as if someone tried to attend an unseen rehearsal. Carradine's love for antiques might have contributed to the supernatural aura. He collected centuries-old furniture, including a large wooden desk rumored to come from an English manor with its own ghost lore. Visitors felt weird chills when sitting near it, describing the sensation of invisible eyes watching them. After Carradine's death in 1988, new owners continued to sense his presence. Some nights, they heard measured footsteps in the entry hall. Once, a dog barked wildly at a shadow by the stained-glass window. A couple who rented the place temporarily reported the entire house spontaneously smelling of old books and candle wax, reminiscent of a centuries-old theater stage. Skeptics believe the estate's creaks and drafts can be chalked up to old construction, but fans of John Carradine's larger-than-life persona embrace the idea that the actor's dramatic spirit lingers. Perhaps the house remains a stage for his posthumous performances, allowing him to recite lines or greet old friends from the shadows in a final, ghostly encore. 14. Marion Davies Mansion, the Santa Monica Specter. Marion Davies was a notable actress and the longtime companion of publishing magnate William Randolph Hearst. While much of her time was spent at Hearst Castle, she also owned a grand beachside mansion in Santa Monica. That sprawling property featured ocean views, lavish rooms, and an opulent marble swimming pool. After Davies moved on, the estate changed hands and began to spawn stories of spectral sightings and disembodied voices. Employees tasked with maintaining the mansion recalled footsteps splashing near the pool at night, though no one swam after sunset. One security guard who patrolled the grounds heard giggles from behind a locked cabana door. When he unlocked it, all he found was a faint smell of salt air and no living soul. Another caretaker insisted he saw water rippling in an otherwise still pool, as though an invisible swimmer did laps. Legend suggests that Davies entertained many Hollywood elites, some of whom faced personal tragedies and heartbreak. Some believe residual energy from those intense emotional gatherings still lingers, manifesting as fleeting shadows across the veranda. Even newlyweds who rented the mansion for an event reported the inexplicable sound of clinking champagne glasses and a woman's soft laughter drifting through corridors. 15. Harold Lloyd's Green Acres, the Grand Estate of Illusions. Harold Lloyd, the iconic silent film comedian known for his daring stunts and signature glasses, built the lavish mansion Green Acres in Beverly Hills in the late 1920s. With its 44 rooms, meticulously landscaped gardens, fountains, and even a mini-zoo, Green Acres was a monument to Lloyd's success and his joyful, larger-than-life persona. Yet, as decades passed, the estate also became shrouded in paranormal legends. Guests who have toured Green Acres describe the sensation of being watched by unseen eyes in the library, where the outlines of furniture and shadows seem to shift subtly. In the music room, an antique organ is said to occasionally play a few ghostly notes, even when no one is there. One night, a caretaker woke to the sound of children's laughter echoing through the corridors, though the mansion was empty. Footprints in the dusty corridors and inexplicable cold spots near the koi pond added to the tales. Some former residents claim that the estate's secret trapdoors, originally installed as part of Lloyd's penchant for playful pranks, now seem to carry an eerie chill, as if memories of past laughter have turned into restless echoes. Despite renovations and modern upgrades, the legend of Green Acres endures, leaving many to wonder if Harold Lloyd's infectious spirit still lingers, ensuring that the legacy of joy, and perhaps a touch of the supernatural, never truly fades away.